No woman, be woman, all women, nature, nurture me.
Okay,
No
so
woman, be
tonight or
woman, all
today,
women,
new moon,
nature, nurture me.
and
No
I wanted to
woman, be
dedicate this
woman, all
women's circle
women,
tonight or
nature,
today to
nurture me.
jealousy. Mm. It's a
No
big topic
woman,
for
be
many,
woman,
for
all
every being,
women,
really.
nature,
Who
nurture
doesn't know
me.
jealousy? All beings know jealousy, and
Free
jealousy
woman,
is
strong
one of
woman,
the enemies.
brave
They call the Shat Aris, the
women.
6 enemies, the Shat Aris.
Find
There are
your
6.
voice
The
and
question would be, what are the 6?
shine.
Kama, desire; Krodha, anger;
Free
Lobha, greed;
woman, strong
Kama, Krodha,
woman,
Lobha;
brave
Moha, delusion.
women. Find your voice and
Excuse me.
shine.
Lobha, Moha,
No
Mada. Mada
woman,
is
be woman, all
arrogance,
women,
and
nature,
Matsaryam.
nurture
Matsaryam
me.
is jealousy.
No woman, be
And
woman, all women, nature, nurture
so the cause
me.
for jealousy is something
No
that we
woman, be
have to
woman,
discover,
all
because
women,
otherwise jealousy will
nature,
be there
nurture
the rest of
me.
our life. And so according
No
to
woman,
Veda,
be
the
woman,
cause
all women,
for jealousy and
nature,
all the other
nurture
the other
me.
aris, the other enemies, is avidya. Avidya means self-ignorance,
Reflection,
or ajnanam,
correction,
self-ignorance. And so what does self-ignorance mean?
protection.
Self-ignorance means that I don't know
Side by
who I
side.
am or what I am. All that I know about myself is that I am this body
Reflection,
mind sense complex. I am this
correction,
body that has an age, is feminine or masculine, gender, or something in between. It's old, it's young, it's brown, it's white, it's yellow, it's black hair, it's blonde hair. So we're making a judgment based on this body. The mind, our minds, whatever our thoughts are, we identify with. Whatever our experiences are, we identify with. And as I have taken myself to be this individual being, this separate being, a separate being with this body mind sense complex, separate from what? From the whole universe. So basically, I am different from everybody else. That's what we're experiencing. And so when I am different from all other beings, then what happens? Co- Comparison. Naturally, we're going to compare. Oh, I'm brown. Oh, you're blonde. Oh, I speak this language. Oh, you speak that language. Oh, you know how to dance. Oh, I don't know how to dance. Oh, I wished I would know how to dance. Or you have something that I don't have. And then we start to experience jealousy. And so when we think that we don't have something, then naturally there is a judgment that I'm going to make upon myself. And the judgment is, I am not good enough. If I would be her, or if I would be him, or if I would be that, then I would be acceptable. And so, really, the fundamental problem, which is self ignorance, and jealousy is the effect of it, is that deep sense, or this the deep sense that I lack something, and that I'm not good enough, that I have to complete myself. And that sense that I have to complete myself is one that is there for all beings, every being, human being in that sense, because we are born, we're born given this sacred body mind sense complex, and then we're naturally given to comparison. And so the only being that's said in the Veda, the only being that is free from jealousy is who, or is what? So it's Devi. So Devi, the goddess, she who is self-shining, she who knows that there is no other being. So she who knows herself as the cause of this whole universe is Devi. And the Jnani. So the Jnani in Sanskrit means the wise person. So the wise person is one that he or she that knows who he or she is. So the Jnani, the wise person, doesn't see himself or herself separate from Devi. And so that's a journey. That's a journey. That's the journey of every human being to actually become. So I put it in in brackets, because it's not really a becoming, it's an owning up of an already accomplished fact that I am Devi, I am she who has given birth to this whole universe. And so when I know that I am Devi, that would be a wise person, a jnani. But so now the jnani would never say, I am a jnani. The wise person would never say, oh, I'm a wise person now. No. That recognition is silent. It's own up through the teachings that are given by the Veda. And then the jnani has no need to go out and proclaim now to the whole world, oh, I'm a jnani now, and you all come now and are going to champion me, or we're going to make a big party to remember the day when I became a jnani. No, it's no such thing. So it's not such thing. It's not a day that we become a jnani. So when we talk about gaining self-knowledge or discovering that I am Devi, I am she who has given birth to this whole universe, she who is the cause of this whole universe, that is an owning up. And that's an owning up because when I expose myself to the teaching of Vedanta, the knowledge removes the darkness of ignorance. So the darkness of ignorance means is a metaphor. You know, darkness is a metaphor, is an example. Darkness represents ignorance. Darkness represents pain. Darkness represents jealousy. All that we don't want, everything that we go away from, everything that we run away from, that is portrayed by darkness. And the light is a beautiful example that represents knowledge, knowledge or truth, or when there's fullness, happiness that has no reason, wholeness. So there are many different words that point out to the same. And so through exposing oneself to the light of Vedanta, through the sacred words of the Vedas, you don't really gain new knowledge. So the words, they remove ignorance. So the words, what happens is that when I expose myself to the sacred mirror of the words of the Vedas, then these words remove ignorance. So they remove these layers, like an onion, that has many layers. And you peel the onion layer by layer by layer. And in the same way, the words, the sacred words of the Vedas remove ignorance. And the ignorance, which has caused all this pain and suffering. And so then it's a conclusion that I am not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I am not enough. That goes away in the wake of this knowledge. And so that is said in the Veda that really the only being that is free from jealousy is Devi herself, the goddess, and the wise person, the jnani. And every other human being will continue to suffer of jealousy, or jealousy is just one of the effects of self-ignorance. There's anger, there's arrogance, there's self-condemnation, self-criticism. All those effects that are coming from self-ignorance, they remain as long as I discover who I really am. And so for me as a human being to discover my essential nature as whole and complete, and that really my being is the being of the whole universe, that takes time. When I say my being is your being, oh, okay, wow, that sounds very beautiful. And maybe in different situations I have an experience of that. When I drop all my agenda for things to be different than what they are, I have a moment where I feel completely one with all beings. But then, because that experience came, it also goes away again. And then I'm again left with myself, feeling incomplete, starting to compare myself, look through Facebook and see what she's doing, or look at Instagram and look, oh, she got 50 likes and I only get 10 likes. So that oneness experience, as quick as it came, it also disappeared very quickly. Unless I am committed to self-growth, I am committed to discover that fact that I am the being, that one non-dual being. that is free from all defects. And so naturally that does not take place overnight. It's a commitment, like anything else that we do in life. If we're going to learn an instrument, we don't learn an instrument just overnight. If we do, then we most probably have learned it or mastered it in our past life. If I learn a new language, if I learn yoga, if I learn any topic, it takes time. In the Veda it says it takes 12 years to become a master of anything. And so in the same way, to gain self-knowledge, it's not overnight. It is also a dedication to see myself clearly, to expose myself to the teachings of the Veda and then follow what is said. And so what is said in the Veda is that if I want to be successful as a human being, I have to follow dharma. Dharma. And so dharma means a value structure, a value structure. There are certain values that are prescribed in every culture. You see there are values and we all know of them. The value of all values, the one we all know is ahimsa, to choose what is least hurting. It's a value that we all know, but we have lost the value of that value. We compromise it very easily. So quickly I can say something hurtful. I can, it's because somebody hurt me, then I'm going to hurt back now. And so one of the values is also the freedom from jealousy. So one of the values that are given is freedom from jealousy. Why freedom from jealousy? Because when I'm jealous, it's painful. Oh, it's so painful. It's so painful. When I'm jealous, what happens is really, I see something in another person and I think that that other person has something that is superior to me, is more excellent than I am, and then pain or sorrow is born in my heart. So I want to share this with you here. I made a little document. Let's see if it's still available. Yeah. So in the Veda, jealousy is called Matsarya. You can say Matsarya. Matsarya. So if you like, you can repeat this after me. So you get the definition of jealousy. Parot karsham, drishtva, jayamanaha, santapaha. That is the definition of jealousy. So what does that mean? So drishtva means having seen. So having seen, paro karsham, ukarsham. Paro karsham means something superior, something that is excellent, something superior. Jayamanaha. Jayamanaha is born, santapaha, pain or sadness. So having seen something, or having seen some superiority in another being, then there is pain or sadness born in my heart. Yeah. So that's the definition of jealousy. And so the value that is found in the Veda, it's called ashaucha. You can say ashaucha. Ashaucha. So shaucha means cleanliness, and ashaucha means freedom from cleanliness. Yeah, so freedom from cleanliness. So the value would be shaucha. And so the value that I want to discover is called shaucha. And so ashaucha means the uncleanliness of jealousy. So my value can become shaucham. So we want to look into the value of shaucham so that that value of shaucham becomes very valuable to me. Because if I just tell you, don't be jealous, then that's not going to work. Right? You're going to say like, how can I not be jealous? Jealous is there in my heart. Jealous was there in my mother. Jealous is there in my grandmother. Jealous is there in my sister. I'm born into a jealous family. I'm born into a jealous society, how can I be free from jealousy? Just not to be jealous is not going to work. Yeah. So that's why we have to discover the value of the value, so the value of Shaocham, so that I can now, when jealousy is there in my heart, I have some tools. Mm. Because usually what happens when I'm jealous, I don't want to tell anybody. Then I feel already jealous, so it means I feel very already hurtful. And then on top of that, I feel ashamed that I'm jealous because now I shouldn't feel jealous, because to feel jealous makes me a bad human being. Yeah? So we have like pain on top of pain on top of pain on top of pain, and that's not helpful. So when we now discuss about jealousy and we're going to share a story of jealousy, we're not here then to point the finger at each other and, oh, you're jealous and you shouldn't be jealous and you're a bad person. No, we're going to welcome jealousy. Mm. So to overcome jealousy, we have to understand jealousy and welcome jealousy. Understand that jealousy is there because of what? Because of self-ignorance. So that there's is a connection, a mental association that is going to take place. Okay, there's jealousy. And the first step is to validate jealousy. The first step is to validate jealousy because I have a background for being jealous. I'm not just jealous because I want to be jealous. I don't want to be jealous. You don't want to be jealous. Nobody wants to be jealous. But jealousy has been given to me, like I say, from mother, from grandmother, from society. It is like a lineage of jealousy, of competition, of competitiveness. Mm. So naturally, jealousy is there in my experience. Mm. So that's the first step, to understand that jealousy has been given. It's not my jealousy, but it's there right now, present in my life. And so to overcome it is not to reject it or to condemn it. To overcome it is to welcome it. Okay? So welcoming in Sanskrit is called namaha. You can say namaha, namaha. So then you say jealousy, namaha. Jealousy, namaha. So jealousy, I welcome you. Come into my heart. And so then I want to inquire. So now I have a value for inquiry. Where does the jealousy come from? I must have made a conclusion about myself that I lack something. So you go into the story if that's what is needed at the beginning. With the time, we maybe don't need to go into the story anymore. But at the beginning, we need to understand, okay, there's jealousy. What's happening is I'm comparing myself to someone. I'm comparing myself to somebody. Oh, she has so many friends. She's so beautiful. She's so talented. Mm. And then that can cause some hurt in me. And what can happen is that in my mind, that is going like a mantra. She's better than me. She has so many friends. I'm good for nothing. And then we're feeding these thoughts. Yeah. And so that is not helpful. So first, we have to understand that jealousy is in order. There's a background, welcome jealousy. And now we have to see that when I'm jealous of somebody or something, I'm never jealous of the whole person. When you see something in another person, you're only jealous of one or two parts. You're not jealous of the whole person. There are many aspects about her that you don't like and you don't want to be like her or him, or whatever the situation is. Usually it's like it's one aspect. And in the same way, when somebody is jealous of you, it's also the talent or what they see in you, what they think they don't have. So it's always one aspect. It's never the whole person. So we have to understand that jealousy is completely illegitimate. There's no foundation, there's nothing solid that you can hold on to and say, this is making me jealous. It's all a construction because I have projected some superiority onto that talent or onto that look or onto the relationship. And so that's the first that I can remember. I'm never jealous of the whole person or situation. It's usually one aspect. And when you inquire into it, it just disappears, like you can't hold on to it. The second is, if you're jealous, then that means you must have it already. Because otherwise you couldn't see it in the other person. You can only be jealous of something that you already possess. But you think you might not have it, or you might have not allowed yourself to shine in that way or to bring it out. Especially when it comes to art, I see that so often. Oh, she's such a good singer or dancer, she's so beautiful. It's there in every single woman. But because of many other reasons, we don't allow ourselves to bring those sides out in us, because I don't want to be a bitch. Oh, this feather and leather thing is not my thing. Oh, she's too much ballerina. Oh, she's too much of that. She's too much of that. And instead, and actually what I want is, I also want to be a leather girl. Oh, I also want to be a ballerina. I also want to dress up like that. Something inside us is actually admiring that. And so that's now the big step, is to now, instead of feeding the part in me that is now condemning the other person or myself, that I now put in the opposite attitude. And so the opposite attitude is called pratipaksha bhavana. You can say pratipaksha bhavana. So bhavana means attitude, and prati means the opposite. So the opposite attitude. So it's an attitude to clean my mind. So like every day we wake up, right? And every day we're taking a shower. Every day we brush our teeth. Every day we sweep the house. Every day we clean the laundry or the dishes. It's a daily action of cleaning outside. We have to do it daily. In the same way, the cleansing of the mind also has to become a daily commitment. So it's really where you make an effort, a choice to clean your mind, in brackets. But the cleaning of your mind means to not feed those old thoughts, to not feed them. Because what happens when I feed them? They make me depressed. They make me feel isolated. They make me go into a state of in the worst case scenario, it can come to a place where I want to commit suicide. If I don't take care of jealousy, it can become life-threatening. We can destroy our life through jealousy. We can destroy relationships, and in worst case scenario, and it happens so much more than we think, we can commit suicide, because that sense that I lack something, that I'm not good enough, it haunts me. It's there like an undercurrent, a dissatisfaction in my life, and that if I don't take care of it, it builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up, and then it can turn into a life-threatening situation. So like I have a daily commitment to clean my room, to take care of my body, to eat clean food, it's the same. There's a daily commitment to take care of my mind. And so of course, when we saw the first is to validate the jealousy and understand as a background, and then take care of the hurt. There's something in me that is hurting. And so when something is hurting, then like a child, I go and talk to it, be with it, listen to it. And then at the same time is to bring in this pratipaksha bhavana, the attitude of now putting in the opposite. And so what would be the opposite? So the opposite would be like, oh, I admire this quality so much. I really appreciate this talent in you, or you look so beautiful. To bring in these sentences, and now what the yoga says is not just to think them for yourself, it's to utter them. We have to speak it out. And so when we get used to speak them out in the moment when it's there, like hurting, like you can say, oh wow, your hair is so beautiful, I really loved how you sang today. And maybe it's hurting, but you're putting in the opposite, and that's what is real. That's who you are. That through self-knowledge we can discover that that's who I am. What can happen is that I can think, oh, then I'm just faking it, and it's not really real. I don't feel like I'm a real person if I now bring in this attitude and say things, but I actually inside I'm hurting. But that's okay. We call it you fake it until you make it, but it's not a faking where I'm where I'm I don't care. It's I fake it because I care so much. And this is the way to overcome it, is to bring in the opposite and to utter, to speak the sentences of what I am jealous of. So whatever I'm jealous of, then now you can take that, and then instead of putting it down, you bring in the opposite. So I'm jealous of that talent. I'm jealous of her being a good singer. Then I can say, she's such a great singer. Like I admire her so much how she sings. And so in that way, we're changing our ways of thinking. We have to change our ways of thinking, because if not, it can be deteriorating. And so then the third one is the banish resentment by seeing the saint. Mm. So here what it says is to search a reason why others like him or her, uh, and to see how she or he is so likable actually, to see the quality why she's such a great person. She reaches out, mm, to bring that out. She all her that those gifts were given to her, and she's a great person. She does so much for the community. There's also many other things maybe that are little flaws, like we all have, but we want to nurture that part in us that brings out the best in each other, not the part that is putting each other down, right? Because if we feed that part that is always putting each other down, then that's what we're going to experience. That's going to be my life experience. So seeing the saint in every person, it is a practice. So all of these are practices prescribed by the Vedas. And then the last one is the pursuit of self-knowledge. So we can have now all these different tools to overcome the jealousy, by now, as one of the tools that is not written here, but that I'm sharing now, is we're going to share the jealousy, the story of jealousy. And when we are listened to and heard by others and see that I'm not alone in my jealousy, that's profoundly healing. There's so many ways to be with our hurts and our pain. But as long as I don't see myself in the light as a whole and complete being, free from all the limitations of my body, mind, sense complex, the jealousy will continue to be there. And so that wake up call, that I can get rid of jealousy in the absolute through self-knowledge. Like relatively, I get rid of jealousy through these prescribed tools, and maybe there are more, but these are some of them. This in the relative, and then in the absolute, I get rid of it through discovering who I am. That my nature is always whole and complete. In Devi, she doesn't compare herself ever, because she is the whole universe. There is no other being than herself. So how can she compare herself to anybody if there's only one light? If there's only one gold appearing as many ornaments, how can the gold compare itself to all the other golds? Like it's gold comparing to gold through gold. You cannot. But if we just focus on the ornaments and the names, forms, and functions, yes, then I can compare myself. So my vision has to shift. I have to take off these glasses of likes and dislikes, raga dvesha, and see all the specifics of name, form, and function, the sparkles, and take off the glasses of raga dvesha, of likes and dislikes, and put on the glasses of wholeness, where I come to the essential nature of every being. And so that's what we're interested, is to discover Devi, she who is the cause of this whole universe in all beings. So we have this beautiful prayer, you maybe have heard it in the Swasti mantra, Sarve bhavantu sukinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhatrani pashyantu. And so there, the third one, sarve bhatrani pashyantu. May we all see bhatrani pashyantu. May we see the goddess in each other. So that what it means, may we see the goddess in each other, means may we see that you are me and I'm you. But how am I going to see that is by seeing myself in the correct light. But as long as I look through the light, through the eyes of my parents, I will never be complete. As long as I look at myself through the light of society or media, I will never be complete. If I look at myself through the mirror, I will always have a wrinkle that I don't like. So I have to look at the mirror into a mirror that really can show my real face. And so that's why when we sit at the altar, like here, this all represents mirrors. And so you see, these are all representing mirrors that validate me, that tell me you're whole and complete. That's what these forms represent here. Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Parvati, Huanin, all these goddesses, really, we have to inquire into them. What do they represent? Where do they stand? And so when I inquire into it, I discover, oh, their intended meaning of their gesture is you are the cause of this whole universe. They're all doing mudras. Mudra means a gesture. So their whole gesture, their whole form is one of abhayam, of fearlessness, of fearlessness. So here when I look into this Devi mirror altar, none of them I have to be afraid of. But usually when I go out into the world and I look at the woman, I get so afraid. I remember my first Devi Circle, I was shaking in my legs. Like I didn't know what was going on. I was sweating and I was almost about to faint. And I like, first of all, I didn't even want to go to Devi Circle. I had so much resistance. I don't need Devi Circle. What is that? I'm just going to study Vedanta and that's all. I don't need anything else. But then I kind of asked myself, why do I have so much resistance to go to a women's circle? It's all women. Why am I so afraid? And so then I went and, okay. Then I started to understand, oh, okay, there are many unresolved issues in my heart. Unresolved issues with my mother, unresolved issues with my sister, unresolved issues with my auntie, unresolved issues with my grandmother, yeah, unresolved issues with my auntie, the other auntie. So they all started to gurgle up these unresolved issues. And so then and then to have the women's circle, and I discovered, oh, I'm not alone who has these unresolved issues. There are many other women who have the same. And suddenly finding a real sisterhood has been so healing and is continue to be very healing for me. So this document we will share with you all, so you can use this document and share with your sisters and have your own circles if you want. So here, what is beautiful, when we go into the circle, we can share our names, and we can also invite our mothers and grandmothers, or a sister, your daughter, or any other heart-connected sister that you would like to be part here in this circle. So we really come here together with the intention to heal our jealousy, to neutralize it with with any woman in our life, and of course also man or any other being. So when we come to our sharing circle, you're very welcome to also bring in and say the name of a woman in your life, or any other person that is bringing out the great teacher of jealousy in our life. And so I just would like to go through the values of the Be Woman Project, which are really the values of the Vedas. I just put them in English. But so the value of Shaucham, you see here, is the number 6. Shaucham, freedom from self-condemnation, jealousy, rivalry, competition, and the discovery that every day Devi is worthier than the worthiest. So that's one of the values. And we have here, so when we come to our sharing circle, we make a vow together, the vow of Abhayam and Ahimsa and Kshanti. These are all vows. Vows means I vow that I don't want that you are afraid of me, and I don't want to be afraid of you. So we make a vow of fearlessness in our circles. And how do we do that? Is by that we make that agreement that we don't judge each other. If we know that we're not going to be judged for our story, then I can feel safe. And so the Abhayam value is really a value for safety. So we want to create a safe circle. And so safety, we create that safe circle when we know that we're not going to judge each other, and we're not going to share whatever we're sharing with anybody else. So whatever we hear tonight or this afternoon, any story that we hear, we know that it's going to stay in this circle, It's being told, and we all together are going to offer it to Devi, to she who is going to take it away and give it back to the universe. And in that way, we're cutting through the umbilical or the chain of jealousy that has been passed on from mother and grandmother and the whole society. We cut through that chain and we don't pass it on. Okay, lots of love, Claudia. Yeah. Bye bye. So the not sharing, no. And so in that way, when we give it to Devi, then we cut through this the chain of jealousy, and we're not passing it on. Because what we want is that we can go out into the world and be be an embodiment of fearlessness, where other women or any other being doesn't have to be afraid of me, and I don't have to be afraid of them. And so that we practice that in the women's circle, that we have our words are sweet, sweet in terms of when we speak to each other. In the women's circle, it's very welcome to express our anger, our frustration, our hurts. But when we speak to each other, that there is a vow of sweetness, and we are sharing the truth, that we are truthful to ourselves. And when we share, and we share from our heart, the deeper I can go in my heart, the deeper I can share my truth, then the deeper another woman will also be able to share her truth. So we're coming here to actually be naked. And we can imagine we're all taking off our clothes, our costume party. We don't need to dress up in any way to be accepted here, because here we want to be accepted. We are ever acceptable, and we want to be accepted for who we are, with or without the sacred customs that we wear. And so often we wear customs so that we are accepted, but we want to be accepted just for simply being ourselves. Yeah. And then when we listen, I'm not going to go through all of these values now, but very important that also when we listen, that we listen as one heart. What happens often is that one sister shares her story, and then maybe stories of mine start to arise, and I can go off into my story, and then I'm not really fully present anymore. So that we also make the effort to be really present to each other, because that's the greatest present we can give to each other, our presence. Because all those hurts, what they need is a presence, a loving presence, and then those hurts can be welcomed and can be integrated. So when I listen, that we listen with our heart, and when it's my turn, then it's my turn to share. And when it comes to my turn, and maybe I don't know what to share, you can say, I don't know what to share. You can say, I don't know what to share, and you can describe your felt sense, whatever is happening in your body. Maybe there could be fear, there could be the heart could start to rise, I could start to sweat. Those are all symptoms of nervousness or maybe some anxiety, and then we can share them so that those physical symptoms can start to release. And sometimes also we just need to share silence. And sometimes also the most healing thing is just to be in silence with each other and let the emotions come out. Let the emotions come, and we can just feel with each other. And when we have shared at the end, we have a sacred word. It's called Om. Or you can say also, I'm complete, so that when you shared, we know that you finished what you needed to share. So you can say Om or I'm complete. And then we will take a moment in silence. We might chant a mantra together to offer the story to Devi, or maybe Madhya will offer a song. And we'll take a moment after each sharing to just hold space for the Devi who has shared, and let her prayers be received by Devi. Yes, and also after the circle, that we are going to comment upon each other's sharing. It's a little bit hard. This is good when we're online, we can't really comment on each other, but it's also just nice to know that nobody's going to write to you and, oh yeah, by the way, I wanted to also tell you about my story. So what is beautiful, we can reach out to each other and then ask, hey, how are you doing? And I'm here for you if you would like to continue talking. That's beautiful. But really nice is to know that nobody's going to comment upon what I shared. And still yet I say it every time. And I know many of you have been in circles and maybe think, why is she sharing all of this again? But I know I've shared it so many times, and so many times women come after to me and then start to ask me about my story. It happens very easily because we also are enthusiastic and maybe want to know more. But then that can be, for me, it's quite okay, but I know it can be vulnerable. So we can also ask, can we talk about that? Would you be open to share more about and not take for granted? So better to ask questions than just taking for granted. So these are our agreements in our circles. Does everybody can agree to this? Yes, I see some nodding heads here. Yeah, okay, wonderful. Good. So let's start. Let's continue with the No Woman Be Woman song, and then we go into the sharing. Huh? Let's chant the No Woman Be Woman, and then we can do the whole Ponopono prayer together also. Okay. Let's take a moment and close our eyes. And I invite you to invite any woman or any other person that maybe there has been jealousy in your life, and you would like to neutralize that jealousy. Or maybe you're inviting the lineage of your mother, grandmother, or you know somebody who has been jealous of somebody, whoever or whatever is most present right now. We invite it into this circle. With the prayer that we all get to know who we are. When I know that I am whole and complete and that I don't lack anything, there can be no jealousy. When I know that I am complete and everything is okay with me, I can just be myself. I can be myself, and all beings can be with me, comfortably be with me. That's why this mantra, no woman, be woman, all women. This is the implied meaning of this mantra. No woman, know who you are, man and woman. You are the source of love and happiness. You can just be yourself so that all beings can be comfortably be in your presence. Nature, nurture me. No woman, be woman, all women. Nature, nurture me. Together. No woman, be woman, all women. Nature, nurture me. Free woman, strong woman, brave women, find your voice and shine. Free woman, strong woman, brave women, find your voice and shine. Together to reflect. No woman, be woman, all women. Nature, nurture me. No woman, be woman, all women. Nature, nurture me. reflection, connection, protection, standing side by side. Reflection, connection, protection, standing side by side. No woman, be woman, all women, nature nurture me, nature nurture me, nature nurture me. In your heart you can say to that person or to that object or whatever the situation of your story of jealousy is, and whatever you're going to share. There's the beautiful Ho'oponopono prayer to neutralize and establish the sanctity of all our relationships. All relationships are meant for growth. The only purpose of relationship is really for growth. Please forgive me. I'm acknowledging my part of the story. I ask for forgiveness. I love you. I love. I care. Because I care, it hurts so much. If I wouldn't care, it wouldn't hurt. But we are human beings that care so deeply. And I'm sorry for hurting you. I never meant to hurt you. And I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Thank you for being my sacred mirror. Mm. Oh. Mm. Mm. So before we start, maybe Marley, I would like to offer a song. And we can also move a little bit, have 5 minutes to move before we sit again and start with our sharing. So it's nice to move, and you can do it sitting or standing up. And if you need to go to the toilet, this is also a good moment. Take some water or prepare a cup of tea to bring with you.
Let's move this one because it has the microphone.
Thank you. Beautiful. Okay. Let's chant Ganesha mantra 3 times. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And we light the candle, to invoke the light of knowledge, to remove the darkness of ignorance. Om Dipajyotir Param Brahma Dipajyotir Janardanaha Dipo Me Haratu Papani Dipajyotir Namostute. And we do the Sankalpa. So you can take a flower, if you have a flower with you also. Otherwise we will take a flower for all of us. You can put it in the left hand and cover it with the right hand and imagine you have a flower in your heart, in your hand. You're offering this puja, this ritual for the purpose of the neutralization of any jealousy, or if there's not jealousy, the sense that I lack something, or the fear that I cannot embody or bring out the qualities that I know that are there, any sense of unworthiness. Because we all have been given a life, and what is mine, and what is not mine. So we don't really need to worry. May our hearts be able to resolve in fearlessness, and jealousy become our best friend so that we can overcome it. Om Namo Pata Samasta Durilakshaya Dwara Shri Parameshwara Prityartam Jnana Vairagya Moksha Siddhyartam Shri Durga Devi Pujam Karishye. And then we offer oil essence for earth element. Om Prithvyatmikaye Shri Durgaye Gandham Dharayani. Offering all of you, Krishna. We offer a flower for Durga, the form of space and all the qualities that come from space. Om Akashatman Om Akashatnikaye Shri Durgaye Pushpaye Sudayami. We offer the incense for air and all the qualities that come from air. Om Vaivatmikaye Shri Durgaye Dhupama Grapayami. And then for fire, we offer the candle, the light, and all the qualities that come from fire, that I can see and I can walk. Om Vanyatmikaye Shri Durgaye Deepam Sandarshayami. And The last, for water, we offer the food. And continue have nourishing food and water, clean water. Om Amritatnikaye Shri Durgaye Amritam Mahanaivedyam Nivedayami. And then we offer all our stories of jealousy that I represent in the form of a book, Ka. So I can really recommend. This is a beautiful story, Ka. It talks about many stories of the gods and goddesses, and there are also the stories of jealousy of Radha and Krishna and Parvati, and how she is jealous of Ganga, and yeah, beautiful stories. So we offer all our stories, offer back to Devi, and we also offer the value. If you want to read more about the value of Shaucham, you find it in the Value books. So let that knowledge abide in our hearts and free our hearts from the darkness of pain, of jealousy. Om Sarvopacharam Pujayami. And maybe Maria wants to offer a song as a final before we finish. If you feel inspired. Or...
Yeah, there's one song that rings in my mind, which is not a mantra. Is okay, right?
Yeah, of course.
And just to give us a bit of a like uplift closure, I guess.
Nice.
And also inspired by the words of Marine that she said before, that there is nothingness and nowhereness. So this song is about us, in all of us, in this body form that we are, and we are seeking the answers to just be content with this. We are walking on a journey to nowhere, taking it easy, taking it slow. There's no worry, no need to hurry, nothing to carry. Let it all go. Together, we are walking on a journey to nowhere. Taking it easy, taking it easy, taking it slow, taking it slow. There's no worry, there's no worry. No need to hurry, no need to hurry. Nothing to carry. Let it all go. Thank you. Let it all go. Let it all go.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you, Devis, for joining.